Do you have audio now? Did I screw that up somehow? Let me know, Denise. Yeah, I think it's fixed now. Still talking. We're good now? Okay, cool. Somehow it muted me. I have no idea why. Can't explain why. It muted me. I had to unmute me. Come on, camera. There we go. Also, good morning to Kelly, Stacy. All right. Whew. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I was muted. Crazy. Doesn't matter how many times I do the show. I was at the top. I was kind of bragging 3.5 years in. So what's that? 600, 750, 800, 900 episodes, somewhere in there. And there's still new ways to mess up. That's the first time that's ever happened in however many episodes we've had that I remember. Oh, well, how was your Thursday? So yesterday was a pretty solid day. I got some good creative work going. Wednesday night, I was falling asleep and remembered, the apparel, this is how my brain works. Oh, the apparel plan for 2022 doesn't include the 2022 commemorative logo that we got to put on stuff. We didn't do this for 2021. We did it for 2020. There may have been one other, but it's something that I want to happen. So I spent about an hour and a half working on some ideas. I'm going to have to circle a real designer in on this, but I think I've got enough good stuff to hand it off to somebody. We'll see. But it's tough because this isn't a design that's just going to be on a shirt. This is a design that's going to be on everything. T-shirt, hoodie, mug, you name it. We'll put it on stuff for you because it'll be the year-long graphic. And the why is easy. I've already got that part figured out. So I worked on that. It was my last promised day at the co-working space. And I think I left my credit card at the restaurant, which is frustrating. I couldn't find it when I went to pump gas, so I locked it. So I'm not quite sure where it is. So that's annoying. I don't know if I'm going to... Here's a question for those of you in the chat. It's locked. There doesn't seem to be anything fraudulent. Should I even bother trying to track it down, or do I just ask for a new one? I have misplaced... I think I've misplaced a debit card once in my life. This isn't something that happens to me very often. So I don't have context for it. Would love your advice. What else did I do? Had some nice conversations with some people. Had a fun exchange. Come out of lunch, walking through the hallway, and a woman that I had not met before walks up to me, and she just fist bumps me and introduces herself. And it's our lieutenant governor. Now, I know who she is. I've never met her before, but I remember when she was running and just saw her face. And despite the mask, because we wear masks in this place, recognized who it was. And I was like, huh. And we had roughly a 5-minute conversation. And, she's talking about she lives up in Burlington, but, works in Montpelier. And at no point did she inject what her job was. And I found that fascinating. And I actually respected her so much more for it. She did ask if I hadn't known who she was. She asked me some very interesting questions about my internet connection here in the woods. The questions would have been very odd if I hadn't known why she was asking. But other than that, that was kind of fun. And drank way too much coffee. Had a client come in and we hung out for a couple hours and I talked him through some stuff on some comfy couches. And all in all, it was a pretty good day. All right. So advice on dealing with the credit cards. Ooh, everybody's actually coming through on me. Denise, is it worth calling the restaurant to see if they have it? See, I was thinking of that, but it'll be Monday before I can talk to them. Andy says, get a new one. Jenny says, I asked for a new one because you don't know who copied your card info while it was out of your hands. I was thinking of that. Stacy says, just get a new one. Dennis says, check with the restaurant and then get a new one if they don't have it. Denise says, faster than calling credit card company for a new one, especially if you have to change any auto pay. Oh, everything runs through this card. Jenny says, I've worked in banking and I learned that you should never take a chance. I think given the fact that it's not like I can just go back and grab it. And to be clear, I'm not 100% sure that I left it at that restaurant. I may have left it or dropped it at a different restaurant the night before. I found the receipt from the night before. I took the card. Where did I put it? I don't know. I think I did something dumb. I think I took it out of my wallet and I put it down on the counter. And I was like, oh, that's not the card I use here. I use my work card. And I think I just forgot to put it back in my wallet. I think that's what happened. But it's a good point. I think I'll just request a new card. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? I'll have to change a few things. Meh. Coffee. So that was yesterday. Oh, and then I went to the gym, played with the dog, had a great conversation with someone just about life and the way the world is. One of the things that I find really interesting is that you've kind of got two groups of people. You've got people who tell you way more about their beliefs on any given subject than you want to hear. And you've got people who are very reserved in a good portion. And I like the latter group. That's kind of how I was raised. I think that's how most of us were raised. Don't bring up XYZ subjects, right? Like most religion, politics, money. You were taught that in at least the people I was around, you didn't bring those subjects up around strangers. That's gone. That doesn't happen. Not only do people bring these subjects up around strangers, they judge said strangers and tell them that they're wrong because of, I don't know, something. So ended up, I was almost leaving, and someone who I've had a couple quick conversations with her, and she said something, and I was like, you're holding back. And I had a quick response, and it turned into like 20 minutes of really good conversation. And as you might imagine, I like talking to people. So that was a highlight of the day. It was nice. Good morning, Tommy. So it's the last day of the year. And I want to have some conversation about resolutions, New Year's resolutions. Now, we're going to go through the stuff in the chat. In the Facebook group. We're going to start with the jokes, and then we'll get to New Year's resolution. So if you're with us live and if you haven't thought about this, maybe you want to think about, do you have any New Year's resolutions? Are there things for 2022 that you're going to change or do differently? Are there goals that you're willing to share? Don't post them now, but I want to put them up live on the screen so we can all talk about them. Now, of course, it is Friday. I'm drinking out of the Friday mug, available on whistlekick.com. Hey, I added 4 new sweatshirts yesterday. If you liked the dragon hoodie and you thought, Jeremy, this is a really cool design, I already bought 74 of them. Craig. Or, Jeremy, I like this design, but it's white as a base, and I spill coffee on everything I drink. Me. What if you come up with the same design, but with some different colors? Done. Go check those out. Not right now, but later. Same price. All right. The jokes for Funday Friday, courtesy of Frank. Thank you, as always, to my good friend Frank. What do snowmen like to do on New Year's Eve? Chill out. Why should you put your new calendar in the freezer to start off the new year in a cool way? Why do you need a jeweler on New Year's Eve? To ring in the new year. Where can you go to practice math on New Year's Eve? Times Square. What happened to the man who shoplifted a calendar on New Year's Eve? He got 12 months. That's great. I was going to quit all of my bad habits for the new year, but then I remembered nobody likes a quitter. It's good stuff. And Dennis also threw in some jokes for us. So thank you, Dennis, for backing Frank up here. Not to brag, but I already have a date for New Year's Eve. It's December 31st. My New Year's resolution is to stop procrastinating, but I'll wait until tomorrow to start. I was going to quit all my bad habits for the new year, but then I remembered that nobody likes a quitter. Oh, a repeat. What did the little champagne bottle call his father? Pop. Every New Year's Eve, I look forward to a good show at Times Square, and year after year, they drop the ball. I'm not buying a 2022 calendar until I see the trailer. That, as funny as it is possibly the most poignant thing anyone has ever said. Stacy says, you had to go back and forth with your damn transcriptionist. Sorry. And Stacy, I love you dearly, and I have to point out the humor in the fact that you misspelled transcriptionist. For those of you that don't know, the episode that's airing on Monday, the one that Stacy was involved in, she asked to transcribe the episode, which I was quite thankful for, and I'm sure Julius is going to be quite thankful for. And she sent it to me yesterday, and I opened it, and it was like the first half of the first page. And I was like, where's the rest? I'm going to try to take a look at that first thing this morning. I'm off today. I'm going hiking with some friends. They will arrive at 10. I have to run to the post office and the bank before that. So it's a busy morning. I was also planning on doing the 2022 marketing plan. I think I can still do that. I may at least put down the roots on it. It's a thing that I've got to do first thing in the morning. I don't know about you, but I have energy for certain things at certain times of day. And the kind of creative, deep work has to happen first thing in the morning. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Have a great day at work, Andy. Everybody's enjoying the jokes. Stacy says, I'm not awake yet. It's totally understandable. Hey, I use that as my reason for everything on this show. Tommy says, hiking, have fun, great day for it. We'll see. It's a little warm. Could be kind of icy, but that's okay. These are some friends that have, to my knowledge, not done any winter hiking yet. They are from elsewhere. So that'll be fun. Stacy says, still in bed in the dark, held down by two black cats. Fuzzy restraints. All right. Now, what else we got here? All right. Josh sent in some stuff. Enjoyed your views on gifts. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Goals. So do we want to get into this yet? I think we do. Let's start this off. Frank gives us some stuff on New Year's resolutions. The top 10 most common New Year's resolutions. That's my drum roll. That's my David Letterman. Here they are. I don't know if these are in order. Exercise more, lose weight, get organized, learn a new skill or a hobby, live life to the fullest, save more money, spend less money, quit smoking, spend more time with family and friends, travel more, read more. Now, here are my thoughts on resolutions. As I said it, I wasn't quite sure if that's where you were going to go with it, but Stacy, this is one of the reasons that you and I are friends, because we think similarly. But as I said it, I was like, I should have changed those words slightly. All right. What is the thing that derails most people's goals? They try to do too much too fast. They are put off by a lack of progress in the timeline that they perceive. Most people who say, I'm going to lose weight, a lot of them will put a number on it. I'm going to lose X number of pounds. And they start doing something, whatever it is. They make some life change. They're going to the gym or they're eating less, whatever it is. And they will see early success because they've made a change. And then they keep doing that thing. Quite often, those folks, let's say, are going for a walk or a run. They're getting on the treadmill. They're doing the elliptical, the stair climber. and they see some early success, and then they hit a plateau and they get frustrated. And then if the main reason, let's say in the case of losing weight via cardio, the numbers start going the wrong way. Because what does cardiovascular exercise do? It creates an efficiency. And what does that efficiency mean? You're burning fewer calories doing the same thing. What does that mean? If you eat the same amount of food, you're going to put on weight because your body has been signaled, hey, this is a time of restriction. And they quit because they don't understand why. And because they set a timeline that was too short. And my theory on how to tackle that is the heart of this book of 12 Months to Health. Small things. Small things done appropriately. Here's a good example. Apparently, there are, I'm just not even going to point to it because we want to move on. Let's just say if you're in the chat, habits are easiest when they're attached to something else, when there's a rule or a condition. For example, you see on my shelf, whiskey. I like whiskey. I like to drink whiskey. I was drinking too much whiskey. I need a rule. So I sat down and I came, okay, I'm not going to try to go too far from where I am. This needs to be a small increment. As soon as I start eating, which I get hungry, as soon as dinner's ready, as soon as I'm going to start even a pre-dinner snack, whatever it is, the alcohol's off. So if I'm really hungry, there's no alcohol. Oh, okay. Now there are deeper reasons why I chose that. It has to do with alcohol and blood sugar, A1C, yada, yada, yada. But that rule worked for me because it didn't tell me no. It just gave me a guideline and I have the ability to shift it. I have a guideline based on what breakfast looks like, not a hard set of rules. Not I'm only going to eat this. I have rules around lunch, rules around dinner. A lot of those rules are in that book. They're things that have worked for me. And so if you are setting a New Year's resolution or any kind of a goal that's ongoing like that, you want to find something that is realistic. I'm never going to is a terrible way to start anything. Because the moment you break that goal, that mission, the wheels fall off. So, all right, let's go back in. I'm going to read Josh's goals here. Oh, I'll start with mine. My New Year's resolution is to make 2022 the best year of my life. That has been my resolution as long as I remember. And it usually works out. Not for 2021. This has not been the best year of my life. It's been really good in a lot of ways, but it's also been really bad in a lot of ways. I'm, the year turning over, it really is arbitrary, but at the same time, I'm happy to see it go. Here's to a better 2022. All right, I will read Josh's goals here, and I would like those of you watching to send yours. And I'll put them up on the screen. We'll chat about them. From Josh. Goals. I have mine divided up into life and domain. Too many to share here. So here are two from the parenting creative domains, respectively. 1, teach my children, ages 4 and 7, blocks so they can at least start to defend themselves when they start beating on each other, as siblings do, and to ingrain those skills early should they need them later. We've done a little bit, but would like to practice it with them more consistently. 2, I have one more song to record for an upcoming album of 13th hour music. I'd like to record this one with my wife doing the vocals. She said yes. The challenge for the new year will be recording the song, will be less recording the song and more carving out a time without interruption from the kids. Ooh, I get that. That makes sense. Okay. Those are great. My only, I guess, feedback is goals ideally have tangible, measurable elements. We talked about that. What was that, Wednesday? The idea that a goal should be definable by X date or whatever. And that can be scary. But if you say, I'm going to drink less. How much less? Less than what? Less than when? By when? I'm going to focus more on martial arts. In what way? How? Why weren't you focused on martial arts? Right. I'm going to be very, very honest, very blunt, not attack anyone. And I don't believe this is how Josh meant these. But I hear this from people. Remember, I work with clients who are trying to move their businesses forward. So I am used to digging in and pushing buttons on this. If you are unwilling to take your goal, your resolution, etc., and make it measurable, you don't actually want it. You want it. You're not willing to do the work to get it. If the idea of saying, I'm going to do this by this certain date or in this certain way, such that you can define success and failure, it's not a goal. It's not, because it's not measurable. And you might as well not do it. You might as well come up with a smaller version that can be measured, that you are willing to do, so you can have success with it. Why are the things in this book done the way they are and in the order they are? Because they're simple enough to see success. And success begets more success. You build a habit of success, of achieving these little goals that stack up. And as you do that, you can have more goals. I mentioned this client I sat with yesterday who's going through some stuff. And we're talking about his business, and there are a number of let's say, efforts going on in the business that bring in prospective clientele. And they're all good, but they're not getting the follow-ups. They're not getting the engagement. They're useless at this time because they're not being utilized. Okay. And he's like, well, so we got this. And I was like, forget about these. He's like, but I was like, yeah, I know. That one. I want you to do that one because of, there were reasons. I want you to do this one. I don't care about the others right now. We'll come back to these, but we need to get some success going. We need some momentum with this one. And momentum is the piece that people underestimate the most. This book could be titled 12 months of very, very small increments in building momentum. All right. Jenny says, I have the same resolution every year. Don't be afraid to change yourself or your mind at any time. Perfectly fine. It's a good one. I like that. I would love to hear from the rest of you. What are your resolutions? I don't think I have any more in Facebook here. No. Let me make sure somebody didn't leave them somewhere else. Type them up. Let me know. Who are these people? Nope, that's it. All right, here we go. Dennis says, Sarah and I started a little early this week, actually, but our 2022 goal is to take up running again. It's been about 20 years for her and 30 for me. Starting with small changes. Sound familiar? Yes, it does. Walk plus run intervals and having a blast. That last phrase, having a blast. If you can make it fun, you're more likely to do it. The things that we do can be fun. We can find ways to make it play. I know Dennis and Sarah. I know the nature of their relationship is playful. And I cannot imagine that the two of them going running does not have some joy in it. So they're much more likely to keep doing it. And I think that that's an important piece. If your goals, if your resolutions, whatever, can be fun, you're more likely to keep doing them. I don't want to do this anymore. It's fun. I don't hear people say that very often, if ever. Stacy says, I have one that I'm not going into too much detail on here, but happy to discuss privately. Totally fine. And then adds on, I am going to remember all my medications daily, no matter how inconvenient. That will allow me to do some of the things I've been avoiding. That's awesome. Denise says, I haven't made a resolution since we had to in 5th grade. I'm curious why. I'm not saying you should or need to, but I'd be interested in your perspective. Kelly says, I want to learn to be kinder to myself by being less critical and more understanding of my physical limitations. And if you know Kelly, you know that she is very kind, very compassionate to the people around her. Most of the people that she teaches martial arts to are small children. And I think the only thing I would add is learn to treat yourself as kindly as you are to the other people in your world. Because you've got that part nailed. Just got to be just as kind to yourself, which is really hard. I've been working on that myself, trying to remove words like should, might, would, these judgmental words. Oh, I should have done that. I should have done that. I could have done that. And I've replaced those with ownership and powerful words. I didn't realize that would have been the best option. But given what I know now, if I had the same opportunity to make a choice again, I would choose differently. But that knowledge only came from making the poor choice or the wrong choice. See, poor, that's a judgmental word. By making the choice that I did the first time. Denise says, it just seems very arbitrary timing. I'd rather make changes whenever they seem most appropriate, not because of a day on the calendar. Otherwise, it seems forced and set for failure. I agree. It is arbitrary. I think one of the reasons for a lot of people we set these at the beginning of the year is that there is a cultural acceptance. If you go around telling everyone in June, hey, I'm going to start doing this or stop doing that, there are a lot of people who are going to think that they're being supportive and say, oh, you're fine the way you are. Oh, you don't need to do that. And they're not helping you. But if you make that resolution early in the year, we are socially wired to accept that because of our culture. And it's more likely that people say, oh, that's great. Good luck. I'm doing that too. Do you want help with accountability? So I get it. Now, if these are changes you're making that you don't tell anybody about, it doesn't matter. But it's true. One of the things that helps people reach their goals is talking about them. This is why I've said professionally, 2022 is the year whistlekick becomes profitable. Because I know if I tell people, that's an extra accountability element. That's going to keep me from doing dumb stuff with money. Stacy says, not a resolution, but got myself a full set of new bedding, pillows, sheets, quilt to put on the bed today, going into the new year in comfort. Oh, I love that. That's great. Quality of sleep is the most underrated aspect of health and well-being. Not just length of time, but quality. Tommy says, it is arbitrary. The only thing permanent in this world is change. David Bowie. Dennis says, Kelly, understanding your individual limitations and excelling in spite of them is a clear demonstration of your greatness. Oh, I like that, and I agree. It's still mostly dark out. I don't like that. I thought we were past that. Oh, that probably means it's really cloudy. So I packed my bag for the hike. I went hiking on Sunday, so there wasn't a lot to pack. I took everything out, but it didn't get put away. So I put everything back in there, stopped at the grocery store, grabbed some trail food and some chips and cottage cheese, because cottage cheese is really good. And I'm going to go work on that marketing stuff. I'm going to go to the bank. I'm going to go to the post office. I'm going to order a new credit card. I didn't have this one memorized. You ever have one memorized and you're like, oh, I got this. And then you have to change it and you're like, ah. I did have the 3-digit number on the back memorized, though. That was convenient. Oh, well. Had it for years. So. What else? Oh, what did I put up? Oh, I put up another photo at whistlekick.com/family yesterday. I swapped out the photo of the childhood photo of me for a different photo of me that you might find interesting. And I think that's it. Now, I've been thinking, tell me what you guys think of this. So this awesome calendar, this great gift from my friend Ben, who is not a martial artist, but Ben was kind enough to think of me. I think like first show of the month, we'll take a look at the pictures. So this is going to hang out. So Monday, which is a big day, we'll crack that sucker open and take a look at the first picture. That's what I'm thinking. Tommy says, I like rainy day hikes or walking. I know I'm weird. That's okay. Ha. Then it says, Tommy, I guess that makes at least 2 of us then. The only reason I dislike rainy hikes is it can be hard to get warm. If it's summertime and assuming it's a trail that I can manage, the mud, it doesn't bother me. I go barefoot through the mud. It's fine. But in the winter, even at 45 degrees at the base, you can have, freezing rain halfway up, and it can be really hard to get warm. I've upgraded my gear over time, so that's not as big of a deal as it was. And Jenny has the best thing to end on. I'm going to go and send you on your way to the last day of the year. You are in good company, my friend. You have to be a little weird to do what we do, right? You do. We're all weird, but in the best way. I really appreciate all of you. This was a year where First Cup really took off. And a big part of it was StreamYard and the ability to stream on Facebook. Facebook's where our community is. So I'm thankful to all of you. And my hope is that the show continues to remain the solid effort that it is, that most of you will continue to join when you can. And maybe we'll add a few new people next year. Who knows? We'll see. Happy New Year, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And I'll see you next year. Peace.